Hey guys, and welcome to day 28. I can't believe that we have nearly finished the 30-day freedom plan. Today I wanted to talk about something that is going to help you in your journey ahead. Hopefully by now you have established your freedom plan on paper. You've gone through all of these tasks that we have set up through each day. If you haven't, I encourage you, go back and revisit those days. Maybe there's one topic that you're really wanting to grow in. Maybe it's about diligence or obedience. Go back to that day and just even spend a couple of days just breaking it up, studying it, understanding it a little bit more. I encourage you, you don't have to go through this in 30 days, but it is really important for you to grasp all the content that we have created to help you on this journey. So take it piece by piece if you choose, or go back at another time and look at it. You could do one topic a week or a month or whatever works for you, but it's important to make sure that you partner with the activities, the reflections, the questions, the processes, because each day specifically has a purpose. So today we are talking about fasting. What fasting does is it aligns your heart with God and it breaks the power of the flesh. Sometimes people think, if I do this fast, then I'm going to convince God to move for me and I'm going to, be filled with supernatural power and make everything happen the way I want it to happen. Now, God can move in those ways, but that isn't actually the purpose of a fast. The purpose of a fast is for our hearts to align with God's heart. It's to lessen our own will to hear more of His will. It's surrendering to God. It is creating a space for the flesh to die, for the flesh to lessen, to weaken, for your will to minimize and for God's will to increase. Biblical fasting isn't about striving. It's not about how perfectly you do it. It's not even religious, like if I stop eating this meal, then I'm going to receive this thing. Like you're earning your breakthrough, you're earning the reward of the fast. But like I just said before, it's about aligning with God. It's alignment. It's creating space for God to work in you. It's saying, I expose myself before you. I want you to come and work deeply in me. Remove the blindfolds, the perceptions, the perspectives, the things that I have in my life that maybe are in the way of this union with you. Maybe that are in the way of the things that you have for my life. And what He does in that, He will deal with you. He will break you. He will undo you. He will restore what's broken. He will bring order back into your life. And so when you fast with a surrendered heart, with the main goal and the purpose to seek God, to surrender to Him and allow Him to do whatever He wants in you, then you will have a successful fast. In Isaiah 58, it says, "This is the kind of fast that I desire, to remove the heavy chains of oppression, to free the oppressed and shatter every type of oppression, to lighten the load of the heavily burdened, to liberate those who are tied down, who are held back by injustice, to cancel debts, to get rid of exploitation in the workplace, to set free the crushed and the mistreated, to break off every yoke of bondage." And so this is a part of the purpose of our fasting. When we surrender to God, what He'll do is, if there's yokes or bondages in our lives, if there's things in our life that are causing oppression, if there's things that we're feeling burdened about and we can't, just doesn't matter whatever we do, how much we pray, how much we use these boundaries, how much we grow in emotional healing and health, how much we participate in the spiritual practices, sometimes the only way to find freedom is to call a fast. Matthew 26, Jesus said, "The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." Sometimes what's standing in the way of us receiving freedom is that our flesh gets in the way. There's parts of us that always react instead of response. There's parts of us that seek comfort instead of growth. There's parts of us that resist surrender. You know, we can cling onto our old coping mechanisms, our patterns, our cycles. A fast gets to the root cause of that. And so when the flesh becomes quietened by our senses, you know, a fast causes us to, you know, we're not eating, we're not feeding the flesh naturally, we're not feeding the flesh physically, we're not focusing on taste, we're not focusing on sustenance in that way. We're really removing these distractions, quietening this flesh in order to see our spirit strengthened. And when our spirit is strengthened, we'll start to get clarity, we'll start to get direction. Maybe we're more sensitive in the spirit. Maybe we understand the word more. Maybe we can hear the wisdom of God. Maybe we feel more connected to him. You know, God's always speaking to us in the same way, and fasting doesn't make him speak louder and it doesn't make him move, but it lessens our noise and our distraction so our heart actually hears him. And so, you know, like I said before, if we're stuck and we can't get out of a certain way, a fast is just a beautiful way to say, God, I surrender to you. Like, I give up on these things and I'm letting you move in my life. I just want to be close to you. I just want to realign my life with yours. I want to remove and eradicate all these distractions and this noise and these cycles and these things that are getting in the way, so I can, number one, be more intimate, closer to you, to hear you, to understand you, but also I'm giving you free reign to come and move in the way that you feel is necessary for me right now. Isaiah 58 shows us that fasting softens your heart. It pulls you out of focus from yourself and looks at the compassion, the mercy towards others, your family, to those who are down and out, to those who are in need. It grows, it cultivates generosity and love and peace and justice within you. And so fasting, it's beautiful. You know, we're not fasting to get God to move powerfully, but he can. We're not fasting to get free from our bondage and oppression, but it can happen. We're not fasting to, you know, make God move in another person's life, but that can happen. And we're not fasting for, you know, whatever reason. We're fasting to surrender our flesh, to seek God, and to really just give all of it, hand it all over to him. And what happens as a result of that, you know, we get those things, we see testimonies. You know, I've had testimonies of doors opening, of things breaking from my life, you know, spiritual oppression and bondage being removed, even natural fleshly things being removed, you know, ripped out of my life. I've seen relationships restored. I've seen direction and clarity coming. I've seen just so many different things. But the most beautiful thing is God's heart and his nature gets restored in my life. If I'm operating in these things, in these ways, in this heart that doesn't align with his, if I'm not thinking about others, if I'm, you know, so self-focused, if I'm so sin-focused, fasting helps me to just come out of this dark, selfish place and move into this place of, you know, looking unto him, into moving into the light and seeing him so much more clearly. God promises in Isaiah 58 that your light will break forth, that your healing will spring up quickly, that the glory of the Lord will be your rear guard, that you will call him and he will answer you. So fasting removes all the noise so that you can recognize God's movement, his hand in your life. As we continue to read it, you know, when we study it, it ends with the blessings, you know, of guidance, of refreshment, of emotional restorations, flourishing, renewed purpose, stability, and spiritual strength. So literally, like, it's resetting your whole inner life, your whole inner world. So when we quieten the flesh, when we surrender to God, this is how fasting brings freedom. 2 Corinthians 3:17 says, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And fasting helps us return to this place. So I want you to ask today, you know, what part of your flesh is God asking you to surrender? What do you think is leading you into? What heaviness, oppression, bondage, weight whatever it is, like, what are you asking him to break off your life? Maybe you're seeking clarity. What is that? God is a God who cannot lie. He's faithful to his covenant. He will never deceive you. He performs whatever it is that he has promised, and he is able to do it. If he says it, he's going to do it. So take this time to come before him and to really lay it all at his feet.